If you've ever seen them, you remember. 50 young women dressed in enormous pastel hoop skirts with parasols twirling. These are the Azalea Trail Maids, in Mobile, Alabama's most iconic ambassadors.
Anyone can be a trail maid, any size, any race.
It takes remarkable skills to make an Azalea Trail Maid's dress, and Susan Finisola has been doing it for decades.
They're chosen at the school level. Azalea Trail will go to the public schools, private schools, and home schools, and they will find out how many junior girls there are in the entire county of Mobile. After they have done that, they will sit down and decide how many girls get to come from each school.
Well, there's supposed to be an advisor at every single appearance. Our year was the first year that we didn't even have individual advisors for our groups. Normally each group, 1 through 10, has a specific advisor that even if they can't show up to the event, like someone else should step in for them. But most of the time, there is no one there with us.
But while their image is all charm and elegance, their legacy is tangled in debate. Are they proud symbols of Southern hospitality or outdated reminders of a painful past? It started in the 1920s when Mobile launched the Azalea Trail to boost tourism. Girls in hoop skirts greeted visitors along garden-lined streets, and soon a court of maids was formed to represent the city. Over the years, it evolved into a competitive honor for high school seniors, chosen not just for beauty, but for academic excellence, poise, and service. Becoming a trail maid is no small feat. Applicants go through interviews, essays, and community evaluations. Once selected, they represent Mobile at events across the country. In 2009, they were even invited to walk in President Obama's inaugural parade, a moment that should have been pure celebration. But it wasn't. Some people criticized the image of girls in antebellum-style hoop skirts at the inauguration of the first black president. The claim, the costumes evoke the Old South and slavery. Though they later softened its stance, the debate sparked national attention. Were these gowns simply tradition or tone-deaf relics? That wasn't the last time the maids found themselves in controversy. In 2019, they were quietly excluded from the Senior Bowl, a major football event they'd attended for decades. No explanation was given, but public backlash was swift. Some said it was political correctness gone too far. Others said it was time.
My name is Jessica Cloud. I'm a native of Mobile, Alabama, and I participated as a Mobile Azalea Trail Maid on the 1998-1999 court. My time on Mobile Azalea Trail was a bit of a mixed bag. I remember it to being a very fulfilling experience, and it was such an honor and so prestigious in Mobile County. I remember the first time I had my whole dress finished and I got to wear it, taking pictures with my grandparents, with extended family members, with folks that my mom worked with and my dad worked with, and everyone was so proud of me. And I formed incredible relationships on Azalea Trail with wonderful young women, many of which I'm still friends with today. I also got to utilize and expand an incredible skill set, learning how to host people and be hospitable and make the kind of small talk that builds relationships. I'm a professional fundraiser in my career today.
I remember when I was studying for trail, being taught these answers to these certain questions when somebody would ask us, is this dress racist? Does this represent something racist? And it was almost like I was being told to kind of have this verbatim answer to all of those questions. And I don't think I was truly thinking about what my thoughts were on it at the time.
One of the things that was not so wonderful about Mobile Azalea Trail was the cost to do Azalea Trail, both in terms of time and money. My mother started saving up when I decided I wanted to do Azalea Trail, basically a couple years before the dressmaking process would need to begin. We were not particularly well off. My mom was a nurse, my father was a police officer, and we had to save. And my mom also threw herself into fundraising. She was the top fundraiser of the moms during my year when I was actively on the court. But it's not cheap, and I don't know if folks really understand how much it costs. I know it costs a lot more today, but even 26 years ago, the minimum you could get away with for putting your dress together was probably about $3,000. A lot of documentation would say $1,200, but you could really only make that happen if you had someone in your family who could make your dress.
Well, my first thought was the dresses were pretty, but then I began to think, what do they represent, something that's positive or negative? And I can understand why it might represent something negative, in that, one, I would imagine that there might be some economic thing at work here. I imagine all that's pretty expensive. So I would think that it might tend to be exclusionary.
I am an educational consultant. To me, I could simply look at the dress, think about anything I've seen through the antebellum era, and not get offended. I find it interesting.
Read the ebook and learn more about the A Trail Maid documentary and our amazing production team. Documentary film book and trailer for A Trail Maid, the Azalea Trail Maid story.